So, as a physician, there are many specialties. Main specialty are surgery, pediatrics, cardio, everything possible. What was your indication that made you want to become a internal medicine physician?
It was the last choice
Hmm.
because my first choice was I thought I was going to be an obstetrician gynecologist, but that's what third year medical school is all about, right? You get to figure it out by doing all those rotations, what your personality is fits better with, and what you want to do with your skill set and just how you fit in. And I really, really thought I was going to be an obstetrician gynecologist, but I realized when I was in there one day at 3 a.m. in the morning with the chief resident, and we just done a C-section, and we were cutting through, and I looked in there and I went, ugh. I went, no.
Hmm.
I go, cutting, like in there? No. I remember thinking that to myself. But of course, keeping a very straight face out here, right? Going, oh, this is exciting. This is great. As you're cutting away. The act of bringing a baby into the world was beautiful and wonderful, right? But the actual work involved in doing that, cutting and opening things and seeing organs, no, that wasn't. Turned out I didn't have the stomach for it, and I didn't want to do that, right? I didn't
Yeah.
know until I was actually there doing
Mm.
it. So we find
Yeah.
out these things, right? Different from when I did my pediatric rotation. And Ramona Weaver, to this day, I'll always remember her. She was my pediatric resident. And I remember the day I knew I wasn't going to be a pediatrician, because with this, we had this newborn that came in, I think about 2 months old, the
Hmm.
fever, right? And we had to find an IV access to provide antibiotics because they came in with high fever. And we had to papoose the baby, and I don't know how many times we had tried to get blood from this baby, put an IV in this lady. I really thought, oh, poor baby's in cushion, right? All the different
Hmm.
number of times that we had gone in there. I felt horrible. And then out of nowhere, I started crying because the idea of having to put
Oh my
another
God.
needle in this tiny little body and cause pain to this little thing, I couldn't handle it. It was too stressful for me. So
Hmm.
I started crying, and I remember Ramona coming up and says, "Get it together, Martha. I don't have time for this.
Yeah.
I don't have time for you breaking down, for you to be having an emotional breakdown here. Yes, it's hard. Yes, the baby is challenging, but Martha, we need to find an access. We need to do it. We're responsible. So get it together because I need your help." And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, Ramona, Dr. Weaver. And then she said to me, because if we can't find an IV in the next one or two, she goes, we're going to do an interosseous access and IV infusion. I go, wait. Interosseous. That means in the bone. And so I said,
Hmm.
are we really going to, she goes, we are going to get the trochanter and we're going to stick that into the bone marrow in the anterior tibialis. If we
Oh
can,
wow.
I think I prayed to God right there so I wouldn't pass out. I thought, I'm going to lose it here. So she looked at me like, Martha, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I said a quick prayer up above, dear God, please find an IV in this poor little baby.
Hmm.
I said a couple of those prayers up, and so with the scalp was the one she did, and she got it.
Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness. So she got the scalp IV, and, we all took a deep breath, and I think I turned around and I knew, I'm not doing this. There's no way. I can never be a pediatrician. The courage,
Oh, yeah.
um, and the motivation for a pediatrician, I respect them so much because of what they do and what they have to do to little bodies. I just don't have that
Hmm.
fortitude. I don't have that personality, because I'd be crying about every single time I had to stick a baby or do something to a baby, because at least an adult,
Yeah.
I can cause you pain. I don't want to. It's not what
Hmm.
I want to do, but at least I can say, I am so sorry. Can we just work with this? Work with me, and they're looking at me and I'm looking at them, and there's a connection there, right? So I
Yeah.
feel I can cause you harm. I have to, some pain,
Yeah.
but I can
Yeah.
apologize to you. So anyway, so that was for
Hmm.
sure not. And then when I realized that OB was not going to be the thing, it was already the spring of my fourth year and you have to start applying, right? That summer.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh dear, what now? And then I remembered my very first rotation. I remembered internal medicine, which was my very first rotation this third year. And I remembered the impression of the patients that I worked with. And I remembered Jerry, let's call him Jerry. I remember walking into the room where Jerry was as a third year medical student, seeing him secluded in a room by himself in a corner in the shadows, um, somehow finding a way to talk to him and speak to him and connect with him, somehow being able to have him trust me after a few times, because I was his medical student for that rotation,
Mhm.
getting to know him, getting to know his medical conditions, hearing his suffering, hearing how lonely it was for him because he was HIV, he had AIDS, and hearing his story about how lonely it was to be in this room by himself because nobody wanted to be there because everybody was afraid to be near him. Everybody was afraid to touch him, and it was just so lonely. And he had been an aerobics instructor, and at that time I was very much into aerobics. So
Mhm.
we had a lot to talk about. And I remember that connection. I remember
Yeah.
how important it was for me to talk to him. I remember the ease at which we had conversations, and I thought, um, I do that. I like that. I like speaking.
Yeah.
I like getting their stories. I like finding out who they are. Um, and somehow I have a sense that I can do that fairly well.
Yeah.
And it's not something that I really would have said about myself, but all those experiences in internal medicine, my third year, really helped to see what my skill set was. Um,
Mhm.
being able to talk to people, having them open up, having them share private things. And it's a huge privilege to be given by another person, another human being, and to
Mhm.
connect with them at times that they're very, very vulnerable, um, alone. And sometimes you can be that person that bridges that for them, right? So it's really
Mhm.
amazing. And he left me a wonderful gift when he was discharged from the hospital. He had a set of aerobic tapes that he left me. He says, "These are for
Mhm.
you, Martha." And so that I
Oh.
remembered that conversation. And then I said, okay, that's me. I'm an internal medicine physician.
Yep. Exactly.
That's what I'm going to be. And it
Mhm.
was the right decision for me.
Yeah.